Okay, so we're still on Pearson Page 132, question 2. And what we're going to do firstly is simplify my coefficients. So I have to think, all right, well, what is the highest common factor that goes into 12 that also goes into 8? And the answer to that one is 4. Okay, so I have to think, all right, well, how many 4s go into 12? And that would be 3. And how many 4s go into 8? And that's 2. All right, so on a new line, otherwise it starts to get a bit messy, I'm going to go equals 3, okay, a to the power of 7, so divided by 2a to the power of 3. All right. Now, just a reminder as well of these questions. The questions actually asked you to simplify all of these fractions. So obviously I had a question today from a student, and obviously there is, you can't cancel this number out to 1, okay? So once again, this is going to remain as a fraction in a fraction form, okay? And that's perfectly acceptable because we have simplified it as much as we can. So now we're going to go back and use index law 2, okay? And what we're going to do here is go 3a to the power of 7, subtract 3, okay? So that's part here has obviously been moved up there, over 2 still. And then we will do on a new line, okay, 3a, and what is to the power of 7 minus 3? Well, that's 4 over 2. Okay, so that would be as simplified as we possibly could get it. All right, so let's do another one. Which one should we do now? Oh, that's a goodie. That's a goodie. Okay, so this is, actually let's do O. Yeah, O. Alright, so O is 144. Okay. A6. B8 times, okay, negative 8. Hang on, where did I get that from? Oh, my bad. So 144, a to the power of 6, b to the power of 8, divided by negative 12, a to the power of 5, b, whoa, to the power of 7. Woo, this is cray cray. That's okay, Kay. Okay. So once again, in order to solve this one, all we really need to do is to know how to divide numbers and also how to use index law 2. That's all we need to know. That's the only special maths we've got for this one. Okay, so we're going to solve these coefficients first, and remember, going back to today, in relation to our rules for dividing and multiplying negative and positive integers, if you have 2 negative numbers and you times them together, it's a positive, okay? If you have 2 positives and you times those together, it's a positive. If you have 2 negatives and you divide them together, it's a positive, okay? If you have 2 positives and you divide them together, it's a positive. And then, okay, in relation to division, okay, if you have got a negative and you're dividing by a positive number, it's going to be a negative number. If you have a positive number that you divide by a negative number, it's a negative. If you have got a negative times it by a positive, it's a negative, and you have a positive times that by a negative, it's a negative. Now, that looks super hard, but it's easy to remember. In relation to division and multiplication, if your integers are the same, it is going to be an overall positive number, okay? So as you can see, these ones here are the same, positive number. These ones here are the same, positive number. These ones here are the same, positive number, and these ones here are the same, positive number. And whenever they're different, so the symbols are different, so negative by positive, positive by negative, so on and so forth, it's always going to be an overall negative number. Okay, so Whoa, that was crazy. So let's do this first part. Let's look at the coefficients first. So another thing I wanted to say as well, in all of the questions and all of the answers for question 1, you probably would have been using index law 1, and that's why I got you to times them all together. Okay, so remember on one line it might have said a to the power of 5, b to the power of 6, c to the power of 7, and I said, okay, write a to the power of 5 times b to the power of 6 times c to the power of 7, okay? So that's awesome to do that, probably more so for ones where you're usually mostly just using index law 1, but here we're using index law 2. So I'm just not going to put all those times in because that's going to confuse us a little bit. But what I'm going to do is this first part first. So new line. And if you don't know, you can use a calculator, okay? But 144 divided by negative 12 is going to give me negative 12, okay? And obviously the reason that's going to give me a negative number is because this number here, 144, is positive, and we're dividing it by a negative number. Okay, and effectively, I think these are almost a little bit easier than the other ones. Now we're going A6, okay, and we've got a to the power of 5 here, so we're going to subtract 5. And then we've got b to the power of 8, subtract b to the power of 7. All right, now let's put this on a new line. So equals negative 12, a to the power of, well, we've got 6. Okay, so that's going to be 1. So to the power of 6 to subtract 5 is 1. Okay, and then we've got b, and b to the power of 8 subtract 7 is 1. Okay, and you don't need those to the power of 1s there. Okay, so a is just a to the power of 1. Okay, so we can take those away. So on a new line, if you wanted to, you could go negative 12 a b. So this whole thing up here, that monstrosity, can actually be further simplified to negative 12 ab. Okay, cool.